From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the Business, Equity, and Opportunities Podcast with Scott Sander.
Welcome to the Business, Equity, and Opportunities Podcast. I'm Scott Sander. On this episode,
we start with a small business owner who turned to Kickstarter and found success accessing capital. The U.S. Department of Commerce Minority Business Development Agency provides services to help minority-owned businesses across the country. To that end, the agency recently awarded grants totaling $4.72 million to strengthen and expand a national network of business centers. Part of that money is coming to Indiana. And we hear a success story from an educator with a worldview who wants her students to develop their own too.
Every business is unique and has a target audience. If you own or manage a business, Circulus Digital Media can help you connect and grow your customer base with turnkey digital solutions that are nimble, offering best-in-class results, service, and support to reach a bigger customer base, allowing you to pinpoint a specific audience down to the smallest details. Get outside the city, the state, span the globe. Put Circulus Digital Media to work for you. Get started now at circulusdigital.com. That's circulusdigital.com.
The U.S. Department of Commerce Minority Business Development Agency provides services to help minority-owned businesses across the country. To that end, the agency recently awarded grants totaling $4.72 million to strengthen and expand a national network of business centers. Part of that money is coming to Indiana, one of 6 states to be awarded grants to operate new MBDA centers. The Indiana Economic Development Corporation applied for the grant and brought it home.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Getting started.
David Watkins is Vice President of Small Business for the Indiana Economic Development Corporation. He works with thousands of entrepreneurs and small businesses across the state and is uniquely invested in creating an environment for small business success.
I think the place for any entrepreneur to start is their local small business development center. There's 10 offices across the state. Every single county is covered, so there's one near to anywhere you're trying to start a business. And there are some direct programming and assistance that's provided through the SBDC, but it's also getting connected to the ecosystem. I can't understate how key that is to small business owners. Getting connected into that ecosystem. The SBDC is certainly one of the best ways to get connected with that local office, get hooked up with a business advisor, talk to them about your business, talk to them about your opportunities, your strategy, what you want to do, what challenges you're having in your business, and then be open to the connections and the referrals and the assistance from there. There are a significant number of resources available for small businesses, so any way that we can help share that word, shine a light on the programs that are available, I think that's the best place for any entrepreneur to get started. What we do for small businesses and entrepreneurs and startups through the SBDC is at no cost. And this is part of our strategy for supporting entrepreneurship across the state. And the common question that we get is, well, I don't know if I'm a small business, or do I qualify, or I just have a side hustle, so that's not that's not a business, and none of those things are the case. First, 99.4% of all businesses in the state of Indiana are small businesses. So greater than 9 times out of 10, if you're talking to a business owner, you know a business owner, you're a business owner yourself, you're probably a small business. And it doesn't matter whether it's just you and a side hustle, or you have an employee or a family member helping you out. Those are all opportunities to engage in the startup ecosystem, grow your business. It doesn't matter whether it's a side hustle or whether it's a rapidly growing existing business. There are resources available and people that you can talk to about your business, regardless of what stage you are. And most, if not all, businesses start small. So every business that we think of today that is globally successful and fast growing or getting investment from outside sources, they all started small. They all started somewhere. And we know the stories of businesses that started in garages or in a dorm room or that kind of thing. We know the stories because it's real. There are a lot of businesses that start from humble beginnings and grow to be quite successful. So really pretty much much any entrepreneur, startup, or existing business can come and work with the Small Business Development Center. Probably the best learning that any entrepreneur has is learning from the entrepreneur who's a step or two ahead of them. And the folks that we have across the state working for the SBDC are by and large business executives and former entrepreneurs themselves. Many of them have been there, done that. They can say where the challenges have been, what solutions they explored, and connect them to others who have done that as well. There is a community of entrepreneurship in the state of Indiana, and it's probably one of our greatest assets because we like to sometimes call it Hoosier Hospitality in Action. We're inclined to help that next person who may be trying to start their own business that's similar to what we did and help them figure out how to navigate that ecosystem and get connected to other like-minded individuals. Entrepreneurship can sometimes be lonely. It's challenging. It is a challenging endeavor to start a business and employ people. But there are people available, there are resources available to talk to. Sometimes it's just picking up the phone and listening. What surprises me the most is probably the globally competitive businesses that we have in the state, in all areas of the state. In different areas, rural, urban, we have businesses that have been in existence for over 100 years. We have businesses that have been in existence for less than a year. We have 7th generation family-owned businesses in existence in the state of Indiana today. We have a rich heritage of agriculture and farming communities. All of these different things that I think a lot of people would be surprised at how globally competitive, if not dominant, some of these businesses are in places like Windfall or Argus or down in Jasper or Brazil, right? So they're all over the state. Truly incredible stories of entrepreneurship that continue today, and I think that's what surprises me the most is that not a lot of people know that, and I think they should.
By day, Andy Klotz is Chief Communications Officer for Muncie Community Schools, but he also wears another hat, that of Vice President and co-founder of Scorebox 21, maker of the SB21 portable electronic scoreboard for use when you play some of Indiana's favorite picnic games like cornhole.
We formed Revelry Games over a year ago, and our featured product is Scorebox 21, which is really the world's first portable electronic scoreboard for cornhole. It works for other games, but cornhole is the hot game. We are just a couple of guys with a dream. And so we're working guys who have this idea and this project and have received a ton of great feedback for it, but we still needed financing. And so we've had to be pretty creative in order to get the capital to even get this thing launched. And so one of the things that we did, in addition to finding a couple of angel investors and a couple of other partners, is we decided to try Kickstarter, which we had no experience with prior to this. And we did a lot of research, and it's really something that you need to be prepared for, but it's a good vehicle to not only generate some capital, especially for a startup, but it's also a great way to get some feedback and find out about your product from people who aren't related to you or haven't known you for a long time. It also made us really delve into the best way to market our product because it's brand new and it's a new product, not just a new version of something, but a brand new product. It doesn't exist. So we have to figure out the best way to get it to people and make it sound appealing and look appealing. You really need to spend a lot of time figuring out what your financial goal should be because you have to determine the window that you have to raise your money in that window or you don't receive the funds from all of your backers. So you really need to find that right combination of the amount of funding that you need to get your business up and going, as well as the window of time that it'll take to generate those kinds of funds. And if you miss the mark in one way or the other, that can mean you're not going to have a successful campaign because not a lot of people want to back something on Kickstarter if they haven't done it before. So you really need to appeal to what they would want. For people who are on Kickstarter regularly and they have over 1 million people on there every month, so you're potentially getting to a whole new audience. But for people who aren't familiar with Kickstarter, it's not like ordering on Amazon. You're not going to get your product overnight or in 3 days. You are saying, I'm going to give you this money in order to get a product maybe 6 months or even a year down the line, because it doesn't exist yet. But you do have to put a lot of time in to make sure that you are meeting all the requirements that Kickstarter has, because they really try and vet all the projects very diligently, so that they don't have people just coming in, putting something on and maybe scamming people with something they never intend to make. You have to go through a lot of hoops, and you have to produce a lot of materials in order to impress the people at Kickstarter to approve your page, even to have an account.
Well, I think if you're looking at creating any product, whether it's a crowdfunding endeavor or it's a new launch of something, you really want to showcase what that product's about. You want to educate the consumer, all the features and benefits, but also people connect, I think, with the people behind the product. So you want to tell that story as well. And I think it's especially important with Kickstarter because you don't have a track record, you're a new startup. In some cases, the product is new to the world. In the case of the Scorebox 21, it's a new to the world product. And so the video is so important to be able to educate those potential backers on what you're doing. And so when Andy came to me to talk about the project, I felt like we really wanted to put together a comprehensive video piece. So we wanted to talk about the features and benefits, so things like the portability of it, the durability of it, the quality of the material, but also the functionality of it, the fact that you can use it at day or night or across multiple types of games. And so the video needed to feature all those. It's also important too with Kickstarter that you're featuring the actual product itself. Kickstarter is a big stickler, and one of the things that Andy talked about was sort of the hoops that you have to jump through, and one of those is featuring actual product usage. Historically, there were companies who were creating rendered product videos, and it's easy to do that, especially nowadays. Anyone can go create a render of a product that doesn't exist, and now you end up with an issue with consumers where these things may not even be feasible to manufacture. So now they do require that your video feature the product in use. So that's a big piece to this video, that we could actually feature that. And so we knew we wanted to showcase at these really three main pillars of use. So the tailgate, the backyard, as well as in a professional setting or in a competitive play scenario. And so we took it to a tailgate at Indiana University, got some great footage of some tailgaters there playing with it. Did a lot of work in backyard, so we set up a backyard play and kind of filmed it in use there. And then we also flew down to Texas and met with two professional cornhole players and filmed them playing in an actual tournament with it. So it got great tournament usage as well, which made for some great footage, but it also highlights the fact that you can use this in a more competitive play environment.
When you're figuring out not only your time frame and the amount of funding that you need to get launched, the other big thing that we really struggled at first to figure out is the reward tiers that you offer. Depending on what your product is, you've got to set an appropriate price that will attract somebody, and you want to have multiple reward tiers so that people who really like what you have to offer can buy multiple units of your product, or perhaps even a combination of your main product and something else that could be an accessory to the product. And if you package those together in the right reward tiers, then that will be really attractive to buy to people who have a lot of money that they want to put into your product, or just the base amount that will get them the basic product. So reward tiers is something to really spend a lot of time thinking about too. This is for your backyard player. And so many people are having friends over regularly to watch a ball game and tailgate, have a party, or they're going to ball games and they're playing cornhole for a couple of hours beforehand. This product appeals to those people because when you play cornhole, you forget the score. It just happens. Everybody forgets the score. And we found that when we use the board, you almost can't play the game without it anymore because it takes that problem and does away with that problem. We are at scorebox21.com, and right now we are in the pre-sale mode. We're still getting ready to launch. So we're giving a discount for folks who do pre-order on our website, and then we expect to have inventory in and be able to ship out to customers in January.
Today's success story features a local educator who has a very different way of looking at public schooling. She is determined to give her students the opportunity to experience the world.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Success Story.
In today's success story, we meet India Johnson, a local school administrator who's rewriting the book on education for her students and having a global impact on their lives. Her journey to get here is an inspiration.
As a teacher, when I really realized that I did not enjoy the system of education nearly as much as I enjoyed the impact that I could have on students, I, as a teacher, I think taught in 7 or 8 different schools in 7 or 8 years. Did a lot of bouncing around. I was just unhappy and uncomfortable in those school settings. So I think in 2015, sometime during my admin program, when I was in graduate school, I started designing my own school model. Just really thinking about all of my experiences and what I'm hearing from parents and hearing from students and experiencing myself as a teacher. What do we actually need? What do humans need? So that's where it started for me, the idea of I want to run my own school. I did some applying for principal jobs, assistant principal jobs, and I could not get a job. I could not get a job, and an opportunity came for me to take a program that was operating in Oakland, California, and turn it into a school here. I did not realize that that opportunity meant that I was going to have to create and sustain the school model. I really thought I was coming in to be a principal. So the first year of that, I was given 3 weeks to design the curriculum, the master schedules, recruit the students, recruit a teacher. It was 2 teachers and 1 student. We had 1 teacher already. I need to recruit another one, recruit students, and sell this model, a 1-year high school for 11th grade students only in IPS, and we're going to take your students to Thailand for 3 months. There was a lot that I had to do to convince people of this, and I'll say that first year I was really operating in urgency, because again I had 3 weeks to create the model, and we were very much building that airplane as we were flying it. So we did 2 years of that. So then the next moment was after the second year of doing a 1-year 11th grade only school, taking students to Thailand. There were great benefits, there was great opportunity, and there were huge drawbacks, and there was some trauma. So I said I have to stop. And first I stopped entirely. I said I'm going to just resign and I'm going to close this school. And there was, community from CEOs of different organizations to parents to grassroots community leaders were coming to me saying, India, you can't stop this school. There's something here. So I said, well, I need a year. I can't keep operating like this. I need 1 full year to figure it out and do it right and do it with intentionality. So then I spent that year redesigning the school, and then we relaunched the 2020-2021 school year. I did not realize that the majority of the world did not see the world the way that I see the world. Since I was young, and I'm an Army kid, so I lived in Germany, so I was exposed to the fact that you can live over here and over there, and that it's accessible. But then I lived in Indianapolis, starting at 4 years old, where I was so far east, I thought Keystone was the west side of town. All of a sudden, I lost access to the globe, and it just became, we drive down to Kentucky, where I was born, to visit family, and you come right back to the east side of Indianapolis, your world becomes small. But I always was like, the world. I want to see the world. There's so much, there's so many languages, there's so much, and if we're confused about things, or if there's pain, there must be a solution somewhere. Let's find it. It's somewhere in the world. Knowing that our students have that same experience, and they did not. A lot of them didn't live in Germany or live out of the country the way I did. So their solution bank is really small. Their critical thinking depth is really shallow because they've not been exposed to much at all. So we have to give them the world. It's our responsibility to give them the world so that they can start solving problems with a global perspective, as opposed to continuing to repeat the same patterns from a very limited mindset that have persisted for decades. This is a charge that I have to lead. This is not something that can be copy-pasted. This is something that everything that I've gone through to become the kind of leader that I am today, future leaders need to be walked through that process as well. So there's specific kinds of training. You know, there's something to starting in undergrad and being immersed in education. From 19 years old, I was working in schools. We have to start that. We have to start there. There are a lot of schools that are being run by people who didn't have that experience, who did not major in education. This is a career for me. This is my life. So when you do that, and then you go to grad school, and then you continue your education, there's fellowships, there's institutes, there's so much that you can do, but you have to be a lifelong learner in order to be an educator, especially an education leader. When I was young, I said that I was going to get a Nobel Peace Prize for changing the face of education. I was a child. I have no idea why as a kid. That is what I would aspire to, and not like a Grammy or something. But I really care deeply about changing the world for the better. This can't be it. And I say that all the time. The way the world is right now, for most people, cannot be as good as it gets if we see so many miserable people. And I'm watching myself improve people's lives. Any one of my staff members would tell you, the students, many parents would say that their lives are improving. This is something that can and should be done throughout the world. It can't be done the same exact way everywhere, but I think there are some tenets that we hold true here that can be applicable everywhere.
Our thanks again to all the contributors who joined us for this episode of the Business Equity and Opportunities podcast. We hope you found it enlightening, useful, and inspiring. You'll find more information about the show on our website, beoshow.com. You can watch Business Equity and Opportunities Sunday mornings at 10 on Wish TV, or live stream it through wishtv.com. Each week we provide 7 full segments with topics ranging from how to get started and how to access capital to the day-to-day running of your business and questions about accounting and bookkeeping. We feature business news and trends and always share a success story from one of our contributors. Join us next time for more insights into the world of small business. Be sure to sign up for our Business Equity and Opportunities newsletter to get even more valuable, up-to-date information. And if you have any questions or you'd like to be part of our show, please email us. The address is beo@wishtv.com. We'd love to hear from you. I'm Scott Sander. Thanks for listening.
Watch the Business Equity and Opportunities show on Wish TV and access all of our content and share it on demand anytime at beoshow.com. You can find more podcasts from Wish TV on the All Indiana Podcast Network at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.